The day you turn 30, a silent biological switch is flipped. In the eyes of Japanese preventative medicine, this is the boundary year where your body transitions from growth to preservation. While you might feel the same on the surface, your internal engine, your metabolic efficiency, begins a slow, inevitable deceleration. Most people continue eating like they are 20, unaware that certain modern staples are now actively accelerating cellular aging and visceral fat storage. Today we are looking at the 5 specific foods that leading Japanese longevity experts warn will sabotage your health if you don't remove them from your daily routine immediately. This isn't just about weight, it's about protecting your vitality for the decades to come. First on the list is the silent killer of the Japanese breakfast: refined white bread and processed flour products. In our 30s, insulin sensitivity begins to dip. When you consume high glycemic white flour, your blood sugar spikes violently, forcing the pancreas to work overtime. In Japan, doctors refer to this as glucose spikes, which lead to the glycation of skin cells, literally caramelizing your collagen from the inside out. This process creates advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, which are the primary drivers of premature wrinkles and brain fog. Switching to whole grains isn't just a diet tip, it is a clinical necessity to prevent the metabolic syndrome that often takes root during this pivotal decade. The second culprit is hidden in plain sight: sugary health drinks and synthetic sweeteners. Many professionals in their 30s rely on energy drinks or flavored lattes to power through long workdays. Japanese longevity clinics highlight that liquid sugar is processed by the liver almost instantly, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is rising sharply in the 30 to 40 age bracket. Even worse are zero-calorie sweeteners, which confuse the gut microbiome and actually trigger insulin responses that tell your body to store fat around the midsection. The Japanese approach prioritizes unsweetened green tea or matcha, which provides stable energy through L-theanine without the devastating metabolic crash associated with processed sugars. Next, we must address processed meats and nitrates. In your 20s, your body can often buffer the inflammation caused by preservatives like sodium nitrate found in bacon, sausages, and deli meats. However, after 30, chronic inflammation becomes a much greater threat. Japanese oncologists often point to the link between processed meat consumption and digestive tract inflammation. These foods are essentially pro-aging packets that stress the kidneys and increase blood pressure. When your cell turnover slows down, the mutagenic compounds in these meats stay in your system longer. The recommendation is a shift toward high-quality fish or plant-based proteins that support cellular repair rather than causing oxidative stress and systemic inflammation. The fourth food to avoid is fried convenience foods, specifically those fried in oxidized vegetable oils. In Japan, the quality of oil is considered just as important as the food itself. Most commercial fried foods use polyunsaturated fats that have been heated repeatedly, causing them to oxidize. Once ingested, these oxidized fats incorporate themselves into your cell membranes, making them rigid and less efficient at nutrient exchange. This is why you might feel heavy or sluggish after a fried meal in your 30s compared to your teens. It's not just indigestion, it's cellular dysfunction. Protecting your cell membranes by avoiding these toxic fats is the secret to maintaining the skin elasticity and energy levels of someone much younger. Finally, we have excessive alcohol, specifically high-sugar cocktails and beer. While a glass of sake or red wine is often accepted in moderation, the habitual consumption of alcohol after 30 poses a unique threat to the growth hormone production that happens during sleep. As we age, our deep sleep cycles become more fragile. Alcohol disrupts these cycles, preventing the body from performing essential nightly maintenance on the brain and muscles. In Japan, doctors emphasize that the 30s belly is often not just from calories, but from the hormonal disruption caused by alcohol's impact on the liver and endocrine system. Reducing intake is the fastest way to reclaim your sharp mental edge and physical recovery speed. Understanding why is just as important as what. After 30, our basal metabolic rate drops by about 1 to 2% every decade. This sounds small, but it is cumulative. Japanese medicine focuses on the concept of sabi, or internal rust. These 5 foods act as catalysts for this rust, accelerating the oxidative damage to our DNA. When we choose to avoid these foods, we aren't just dieting, we are practicing magosawa, a traditional Japanese philosophy of eating foods that are friendly to the gut and the long-term health of the body. By removing these 5, you clear the path for your body to utilize its energy for repair rather than constantly fighting off dietary toxins. Consider the Okinawa Protocol. In parts of Japan where people regularly live past 100, these 5 foods are virtually non-existent. Their diet is built on the principle of hara hachi bu, eating until 80% full, but more importantly, they consume foods that are high in phytochemicals and low in processing.
A typical 35-year-old in these regions has the inflammatory markers of a 20-year-old in the West. This proves that our biological age is not a fixed number determined by the calendar, but a flexible state determined by the fuel we provide. When you cut out processed flours and sugars, your body begins to heal its insulin pathways in as little as 2 weeks, reversing years of minor damage.
One of the most profound changes you will notice when avoiding these foods is the stabilization of your mental energy. Many people in their 30s struggle with what they assume is age-related fatigue. In reality, it is often brain inflammation caused by high sugar and high nitrate diets. Japanese neurologists have found that by removing processed meats and sugars, the blood-brain barrier is better protected. This leads to increased focus, reduced anxiety, and a significant lift in mood. Your brain is a high-performance organ that requires clean fats and steady glucose. When you stop flooding it with garbage fuel, the mental fog clears, allowing you to perform at your peak during your most productive professional years.
Let's talk about the invisible weight. Visceral fat, the fat that wraps around your internal organs, is specifically triggered by the combination of alcohol and refined carbohydrates. Unlike subcutaneous fat that you can pinch, visceral fat is biologically active, pumping out inflammatory cytokines. This is why Japanese health screenings, known as Ningen Doc, focus so heavily on waist circumference after 30. By eliminating these 5 foods, you aren't just aiming for a smaller pant size, you are literally de-strangling your heart, liver, and kidneys. This internal decluttering is the single most effective way to prevent the chronic diseases that typically manifest in the late 40s and 50s.
The transition doesn't have to be painful. The Japanese secret to success is replacement, not deprivation. Instead of white bread, try fermented sourdough or rye. Instead of sugary sodas, embrace the world of cold-brewed teas. Instead of processed meats, explore the incredible variety of sashimi, tofu, and fermented soy like natto, which is packed with vitamin K2 to protect your bones. By focusing on what you are adding, nutrient density and traditional wisdom, the cravings for the toxic 5 naturally fade away. You are essentially retraining your palate to appreciate the subtle, complex flavors of real food, which is the hallmark of a mature, health-conscious adult. Your 30s are not the beginning of the end. They are the start of your most powerful era. But to claim that power, you must respect the biological reality of your changing body. By removing these 5 metabolic disruptors, white flour, liquid sugars, processed meats, oxidized oils, and excessive alcohol, you are giving yourself the gift of a longer, more vibrant life. Start with just one change this week. Your future self, 10, 20, and 30 years from now, will thank you for the discipline you show today. Remember, in Japan, we don't just eat for today's hunger, we eat for the health of our future ancestors. Choose wisely, live well, and let your 30s be the foundation of a legendary second half of life.